Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 2021 My Driver Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have some news coming here in just a few moments time regarding the Red Bull Racing team and one of their drivers actually here. But coming off of a bit of a rough stretch of races here recently, we haven't been able to get on the podium, but we've had some signs of hope and going into Zandvoort here today, coming off a strong 5th place in Belgium. It could go either way. This is not a track that suits our car very well, so I think we're going to need some help to say the least. But we have an announcement from Red Bull Racing and Sergio Perez, who announces that he is going to actually be retiring at the end of this season. So that will open a spot at Red Bull Racing here next season in this My Driver Career Mode. I, of course, have already announced that I'm going to McLaren, so we will not be on that Red Bull team, although that is a very potential good ride for someone that has opened up. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see who takes over Sergio Perez's ride, and it's very kind of odd for him to announce his retirement in his first ever championship fight. Perez is in this championship fight against Lando Norris as well as Lewis Hamilton, so very surprising to see him announce his retirement basically right in the middle of his first and now what will be his only championship battle of his Formula One career here in this My Driver series. But now focusing on the race weekend here, the final half of the season underway, and the final half of a season here with this Aston Martin Racing team. Before we make that move over to McLaren, there's a McLaren announcement coming soon as well, so stay tuned on that here. But focusing, like I said, on this race weekend first of all here. Now everything went pretty well here now as we were in the green for all the deltas, and we actually, though, we're all the way down in P14 at the conclusion of practice. Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, your top two drivers. So it's going to be interesting to see if Norris can back up his win in Spa with a win here today in the Dutch GP. Now Max Verstappen's home race, and Verstappen, the defending world champion of our My Driver Career Mode, just like real life, has actually gone winless all season long. What better place to get back into form than getting a win at his home GP here in the Netherlands? Red Bull, they just haven't been very high on the R&D train, so it's certainly been a rough season for Red Bull Racing, and Perez has been the best Red Bull driver so far this season. We come through to the end of Q1 here, and I actually had to make 2 laps on the same set of tires just to make it into Q2. I was struggling a little bit here, but we did get into this second qualifying session there, as you see the other drivers that got eliminated with Ilott, Stroll, Schumacher, Latifi, as well as Guan Yu Zhou, but we were only P14. So we come through into Q2. My first lap, we only went P8. So I knew we had some work to do here, and like I said, this car didn't really suit this track very well. We only have one legitimate straightaway, and what's the strength of the Aston Martin this season? It's top line or straight line speed. So when we come to a track like Zandvoort, not really focusing on straight line speed, so it's going to be hard for us here to have a good run, I think, today, and we're going to need some strategy play like Hungary now, as we would actually have to pass Daniel Ricciardo in a really awkward spot, and I lost some time right there, and unfortunately we come through to cross the line. We would be better off in time, but it eventually would not be enough. I called it there, and we get eliminated in Q2, and Vettel just barely gets in himself by less than half a tenth between himself and Yuki Tsunoda there. So clearly Aston Martin not having a good start to this weekend here, with Vettel just barely getting into Q3 and myself out, and I think that might be the first, maybe second time all season long that we have missed Q3. So we got some work to do going into the Dutch GP, and we're going to need some strategy help on our side. So let's head to the grid and see who's going to be on pole here in the Netherlands.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and Zandvoort, 25 miles away from Amsterdam, and the host for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. A lap of this short 2.6 mile Zandvoort circuit features 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. The main straight is 678 metres long and heads into turn 1, the Tarzan corner. With DRS down the main straight into the braking zone, that could be the best overtaking opportunity on the track. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz and Sebastian Vettel, Tsunoda, the rookie, George Russell and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Callum Ilott, Stroll and Guan Yu Zhou. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Max Verstappen on pole in his home GP. I don't know how he found that lap. Looking at the Red Bull Racing team, of course, they're like third, fourth place right in that battle on the R&D chart. So very, very surprising to see Verstappen put up that flying lap now, as we are going to start on the hard compound tire and do a one stop and go to the medium compound tire. There was an option to go a little bit longer and do the soft tire, but I wanted to elect to go with the medium on this strategy here now, as we would get ready to go to the grid championship contenders all up there in the mix between Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, who has over currently one race lead. Hamilton has a one race advantage to work with here going into the Netherlands, so things are looking promising for him in his quest for an 8th World Drivers' Championship. As it's 5 red lights, it's going to be lights out, and we are underway in the Dutch GP. And Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton, Bottas, Perez, they all get off relatively well here. Norris goes defensive down into turn 1. He's side by side, wheel to wheel with the fellow Britishman of Lewis Hamilton here as they come through down towards turn 2, 3, and 4, and you can see still wheel to wheel between the McLaren driver. Could be our future teammate, we never know, as he scraps it out here with Lewis Hamilton now through this very sketchy portion of the track. You don't want to be side by side from this point on, but these two, they settle it out before they get into this dangerous right-hander, which is so easy to lose control. Bottas and Perez were wheel to wheel through there and nearly had a collision, as we've seen them come together multiple times this season, but now everybody has, for now, gotten it settled out here. Now as Mick Schumacher in the background in the Haas, he actually picked up some wing damage here on the start, so he was really, really slow. You saw the Andretti Autosport driver, I believe that was Ilott, that got past him. Now as you can see, he was holding up everybody now as we look at the Williams duo of Latifi as well as Giovinazzi. In there you got Guan Yu Zhou all the way in last place for that Andretti Autosport team. Andretti Autosport been fairly unrecognized in their first debut season here in Formula 1 and is already in talks potentially of exiting Formula 1 at just the conclusion of their first season, but we'll see if they hang on for a little bit longer and can find some pace in this car. Now here I am trying to make a pass right now on Yuki Tsunoda as we dive down into turn 1, trying to go around the outside of the Japanese driver here. Now he was a fellow rookie alongside of us a few seasons ago when we started this My Driver career mode, now both in our third season. Of course, we picked up 2 wins. Tsunoda hasn't picked up a victory yet, but he has been on the podium a few times as we come through up into the top now 13. So not the start we were looking for. We lost some track position and things weren't looking in favor of us as we look around us. Everybody pretty much on the soft tire except for Tsunoda on the hard tire as well. So it was very hard in these opening laps for myself to gain anything on George Russell and his Alpine teammate of Esteban Ocon. They were doing a good job managing that gap, and the concerns were building here because I realized I can't quite get to these guys. I wasn't hitting the panic button quite yet here now, as I know we still have over 30 laps to go. The yellow flag though in front of us is for Lewis Hamilton, the championship leader, who's going to be out of the race with a mechanical failure. Now a huge hit there for Lewis Hamilton, and his championship lead is going to get absolutely destroyed here today in Zandvoort, and it really depends though what Lando Norris does as well as Sergio Perez, so we'll of course have to see what happens. But right now Verstappen still leads over Norris, who's in second, Perez in third place, Bottas in fourth, trying to stay in this championship hunt as well. But now on lap 7, the hard compound tire was doing way better than this soft tire that Russell and Ocon were on. We ran them down. We have help with the DRS activated. We're going to lunge up the inside of the British driver of George Russell here into turn 1. We're going to be side by side here on the exit, and we have just better drive off, and we managed to get past George Russell. And then we have put the attack to his teammate of Esteban Ocon a few moments later, swinging around to the right hand side here and clear just as we dive down into turn 1. But he's going to fight back there around the outside now on that soft compound tire, but we're still going to have the better drive off, and we move now up into the points finally here in Zandvoort here now. So very frustrating that we're just now getting into the points, but Jeff actually offered me to change the strategy. Instead of pitting on lap 20 for the medium compound, let's pit on lap 24 for the soft compound. A bit of a similar strategy that we tried in Hungary that worked very well. Verstappen pits from the lead on lap 12 and puts on a second set of the soft compound tire. So he has gone on to a two-stop strategy while everybody here a few laps later comes in to put on the hard compound tire. So Perez, Bottas, as well as Norris, all of the drivers contending against Verstappen are on the hard compound tire. They are not pitting for the rest of this GP. Verstappen has to make one more stop, and we know he's going to be putting on that medium compound tire. So we'll see. That could have just potentially thrown Verstappen's chances of winning in his home GP for the first time this season away, but I stay out quite considerably longer than everybody here now, of course, starting on the hard compound tire, and now we're pushing all the way to lap 24. So Norris had come out just in front of me, and I had done a really good job staying within DRS range of the McLaren driver of Lando, and that was allowing me to gain more time, and I was able to stick with Lando in the slower portions of the track. These hard compound tires, as you guys know, wear significantly slower than the soft tires, so I was able to stay within DRS range with Lando for quite a good amount of time here, and that was keeping me kind of on a good pace here. But unfortunately, as these laps would go on, the hard tire continued to wear as the laps went on, and unfortunately I would end up falling out of DRS range here. I did have it for a few more times here coming to lap 21, and we would remain pretty close as Verstappen, he would come in on lap 22 for his second pit stop. He's made 2 pit stops. I haven't even made 1 yet. Now he's put on the medium compound tire, so we'll see if this 2-stop strategy will be better for him. But you can see now to lap 24 coming in from my pit stop, we were now 3 seconds behind Norris. So our hard tires, they fell off, and they fell off quick. So we're trying with this strategy to do the same thing we did in Hungary. We don't have the greatest pace in this car, but we're trying to use this strategy where we put on the soft tire and just go full attack mode for these closing laps, and it worked perfectly in Hungary where we almost got a podium, and hopefully it'll work again as we're currently down in P10. So that's been about our pace here today, but with this strategy I think we can still have a chance to get a top 5 here now, as we're just behind our teammate of Sebastian Vettel here as we head down towards that left sweeping hairpin. Now the safety car is deployed as we've had some debris thrown across the track for Carlos Sainz, who's just in front of us there. He's had contact with the lap car of Mick Schumacher. There you see the onboard camera, the debris went flying. He pulls over off the track here, and I thought he was out, but he would actually continue on after, but the safety car was out, which was very frustrating because that takes away time for us, of course, to get on the move here, because once we would get back going, there was now 9 laps to go in the Dutch GP, and as well, that was bad for Max Verstappen here now, as he's going to be grouped up with everybody. He's still on the faster compound tire, but now it's going to be a lot more hard, I think, for him to be able to pass Bottas, specifically because Bottas, once DRS gets activated, is probably going to be close enough to Norris to have his own DRS, making it nearly impossible for Verstappen to complete the pass. So I think that safety car in this strategy has completely hurt Red Bull and Verstappen, and he's probably going to find himself stuck in the 3rd position for the remainder of this GP, unless he has luck on his side here today. And Zandvoort in his home GP here now as we run in the 9th position due to Sainz having his issue. I get right to the back of my teammate of Sebastian Vettel, but it was very, very hard to pass here in Zandvoort when it comes down to the straight line speed. Once again, it's not a huge factor at this track, and that was hurting us, but I was right on the gearbox of Vettel here. A lap later, we're going to move to the right-hand side here alongside our teammate here in the 4-time world champion and my Formula 1 hero here. We're battling wheel-to-wheel with now, as he's got 1 win on the season at Azerbaijan and a photo finish against myself. We've got 1 finish one win in France, that is now, as we though get past Sebastian Vettel here, move up into P8. Then I try to make a lunge up the inside of Gasly, but just not close enough there. He closes the door. We nearly drive right to the back of his gearbox, but a lap later with the DRS, he didn't have any. I did. We easily get passed down into turn 1 as he's going to try to fight back to the left-hand side, but just didn't have the drive off compared to my soft compound tire here now as we continue to lap 32, running out of time. But Leclerc, I was just informed he has a mechanical issue. He's the car directly in front of us here as we have a big chance to see Vettel battling with Gasly, and as he's battling with him, he loses control and he goes head-on into the barrier, somehow isn't out of the race, but the safety car would come out immediately once again, as what a choke from Sebastian Vettel right there. Spinola is back as he goes crashing into the barrier. I don't know how he didn't lose his left front wheel, but the safety car is out again, and that just completely ruins this whole soft compound strategy here, as Vettel of course goes to the back of the grid, and we wouldn't get back underway until 2 laps to go. We could have gotten a top 5 easily, maybe even have fought for a podium, but unfortunately it's just not working out here as I try to lunge up the inside of Leclerc on the restart, but I actually just kind of took it way too conservative into turn 1, so we would have to fight back here a few moments later here. Now going through this windy section, I know I need to get this pass complete. We are running out of time. We're nearly into the side of Leclerc, side by side with the Monegasque driver now as we continue through the right-hander. What a move, what a pass, and we go now up into the 6th position here in Zandvoort, but running out of time, and that unfortunately ended up being as far as I could get here. We come straight through to the last half of the final lap here from the Dutch GP, and Verstappen never had a chance to get past Bottas, and obviously Bottas could not get past Lando Norris. Lando Norris won in Belgium, and now on a day where the championship leader of Lewis Hamilton with an over 1 race advantage DNFs due to a mechanical issue, well, Norris steps up to the plate, goes back-to-back, wins in Zandvoort, closes the championship battle. Bottas, Verstappen, Perez, Ricciardo, and myself comes through to cross the line, and we made the strategy work. We still got a better finish than I think where the pace was, P6, but we still left some on the table there, and unfortunately 2 safety cars after we pitted really hurt us, as we do get driver of the day. And now let's head to the podium here for the Dutch GP.
Brilliant stuff from McLaren today. What a superb victory. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm really happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
Kind of heartbreaking there from Max Verstappen, who ends up P3 in his home GP after really being in command of it until they, of course, screwed up the strategies there with the Red Bull team. Now, as you see the rest of the finishing order, let's check out the point standings. Norris is going to be very close. Now, he's 3 points behind. Perez is 19 points behind. Bottas is only 25 behind. And somehow I'm only 57 out. That's still over full 2 races, so the odds of me being in this title battle pretty low. But Vettel continues to fall down the order because he's been having a really, really rough stretch of races recently here, as he's seeming to be struggling a lot in these last few episodes now, and as well as a mechanical failure, or an engine failure I think it was in Britain, didn't help. But then he crashed in Belgium, and then he crashed today in Zandvoort. He DNF'd in Belgium from his accident, but did remain in the race this time, but obviously no points for him. But wow, what a episode. A big accident again for Vettel, a messed up strategy that costed Verstappen the win in his home GP. Hamilton out with the big DNF, his first DNF in or since Azerbaijan. And then, of course, Norris closes up the battle, and Perez announces retirement at the same time. An action-packed episode, a lot of news, and there's still more news coming here with McLaren potentially as soon as the next episode when we head to Italy, which I think could be a huge advantage to our Aston Martin. So we'll see where our performance is there now as we look for more pace. But that does it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.